Momentan haben wir noch nichts auf LinkedIn.
So, wir sind live. Schauen wir mal, wie wir hier...
Auf LinkedIn sehe ich noch nichts.
Warte. Also laut dem... Warte mal. Ja, wir sind live. Also, ganz herzlich willkommen. We need to switch in English. No, sorry, we were just speaking in German. So, I mean, a very warm welcome to our second episode on leading the change. We thought it might be interesting to talk about the buy-in of the CEO and how it is linked with the success and or failure of any change project. And well, let's dive in it because we have a lot to talk about. So, Hans-Peter or HP, what is your opinion on that? How would you start this topic?
Okay, thanks, Catherine, and welcome also to those who join us live. I think just before I dive into directly, for those that missed our episode number 1, where we introduced ourselves personally, gave our background, our career to date, and what really brought us to become sustainability advocates. So the video is on LinkedIn, so if you want to watch it afterwards, feel free. But today also, I think, let us be a bit clear. I think, yes, we have chosen the topic, the power of CEO buy-in, but don't misunderstand us. By any means are we saying that it is important to only have the CEO buy-in and then top down, any change will just be implemented. No, not at all. That's not what we are saying. We are convinced in this. I think, as we also said last time, change is about people, change is with people, and it is therefore also important to have buy-in, commitment of all the stakeholders involved. Mm-hmm. However, as we know, current corporations, current organizations, organizational setup, it is what it is, but in the end, there is one person, and she, the CEO or the owner, have the last say, and therefore we also think there is a power behind winning the buy-in of the CEO. If I would, I think if I would ask the question to 20, 30, 40 people, all of you who join us today, do you see an advantage of having the buy-in of the CEO for any change or any transformation program? I would think probably all of you would say, yes, of course. Yes, mm-hmm. It is. But it's a kind of yes, I would say, tick the box that you can say. But why is it really of advantage? So why would you, which advantages do we see? And from my perspective, having the buy-in of any CEO makes her one of your strongest ambassadors of change. And you need ambassadors of change. So having her or him as a CEO buying into a change also then sets the tone. So it gives clear direction. It creates a kind of sense of purpose and unites people. And I think it is easier to align all the other stakeholders behind the change and working towards one and the same one goal. I think,
and we know exactly how painful it can be if a CEO is not behind a change or project, because then, you know, there are so many hurdles, psychological, communication hurdles to overcome. So it is better to have the buy-in right up front and to make sure that the buy-in is still there as we go and as we move along.
Yeah, and I think what you said, Catherine, I think probably you have two cases. The first case is you or an organization is already in a transformation, is already undergoing a change, and for any sudden there is a leadership change. So there comes a new CEO. That is what we are discussing now is also applicable. So then it is important to win her buy-in, and then having and harnessing her buy-in. That's also important. Winning is the first step, but also harnessing her. We will discuss that later a bit. So that's one situation. The second is, okay, you have a CEO, and then there is a change, or as a company, you decide we want to switch to become sustainable, which is a change in itself. So, but then it's starting a new change, and also there it is important winning the CEO, but it's a kind of bit two different cases. But I would say most of what we want to discuss is applicable to both. Mm-hmm. So what do you see? I think yes, the advantage being a strong ambassador, setting the tone to the organization. What else from your experience would you want to share also with the people? What's the power?
I think that when there is, let's say, the most difficult situation is that you worked with the entire team within the company on a change project, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, there's a change at the top. Because there are only three options. Either there will be a stop, a halt of the project, which is absolutely frustrating for everyone who worked on the project, or there will be a continuation, a green light to continue the project, which is seldomly happening, or there will be the third option, that will be either a deceleration of the speed of the project because the person wants to step in and to see, to understand, or there will be even an acceleration, depending on what the mandate is that the CEO got from either his or their board members or from a higher C-suite mandate from the top executive leadership. And what I see is, why is it so important? Because, I mean, everyone who has already an experience in moving into projects of this nature will understand that there is, whenever the CEO doesn't stand behind you, you know what? I need to stop quickly because I have an echo on my side. Do you have a LinkedIn window open with the sound?
Let me double check.
Because I don't know.
No, I have LinkedIn open. I just turned off the sound. So
okay, yes. No. Okay, let us see how it will be at the end. Let me just go here, and maybe that I can. I'm sorry for that, but I know how it can sound obnoxious in the end. So is it better? No. Okay, let's see. The thing is that if you don't have the buy-in, it is a real painful process. So what I would say to get the buy-in, I mean, it is first really important that the person can understand or can land, can ground themselves, understand why there is a necessity, why it needs to happen. And usually I see that there are three levers to work on. There is first, I mean, do the people or the CEO have the what is their expectation they have with you or with a team moving forward? Then they have their own perception of you as a team or you as a person in your ability to move the thing forward. because then it comes also to the ability to minimize or to mitigate any type of risk. And then you have the third item, which is around their own framework of reference. What is the experience they went through in these types of projects? And that is really important whenever you move into such change projects, and the bigger they are, to understand from a senior leadership perspective, do you have all these items under control?
Yeah.
How do you see that?
Yeah, no, I think it's clear, and I think to win, that's what you were referring. I think if you want to win the CEO buy-in, you need to be sensitive to certain circumstances, and I think that's what you refer to. And if I just may, I think next to, and let me do that in a second. But just to summarize, to round up a bit, to share with the guys on what else do I see next to setting the clear direction of having the CEO buy-in. I think just to name a few, I think it's when you win the buy-in of the CEO, it sends a strong signal into the organization that this change is important, this change is really worth investing. So the commitment to it increases the probability that you create commitment and motivation from all the stakeholders. If you have him or her on board, I call it a bit of resource security. So if the CEO is on board, the likelihood that he or she is allocating resources, and with resources I'm talking about additional funds, I'm talking about people or any other resource that is needed, I think that's important. And I think you talked about it already, credibility is important. Having the CEO buy-in is a boost towards credibility of the project, of yourself, but also if the CEO publicly supports a change initiative, it's also good, and it sends a signal that a company or she or the corporation is committed to making change, to be prepared to secure the long-term success of a company. I think that's also very important. And we talked about communication also last time. Having the buy-in of a CEO makes communication more effective, more efficient. You can use the CEO as a kind of a spokesperson on the one hand side to the internal, but also to external investors and to other stakeholders. So I think that's really important. And to now touch on that, what you said before, I think we would all agree that having the buy-in of the CEO can be very powerful and is very powerful. But probably, and that's why that's what you said already before, but how do you go about it? What do you need to be taking care when you want to really win the buy-in of a CEO? You just said, yeah, you have 3 types, but from your perspective, you also have been a CEO recently. If you imagine, or if you put yourself into your previous shoes, and one came to you, or if you are now with your experience would go about it, what would you want to give the people that you say, hey, that's important, take care of that? Are there any tips or critical factors that you want to share?
Well, I think that it is absolutely crucial that I have trust in I would name it the team, that the team is able to achieve that. Because as a CEO, then I can delegate 100% this project, and you touch base on that. The role of the CEO is to make sure that with the internal, but also with the external stakeholder, you're basically communicating, you're creating the opportunities, you bring them on board with all the different projects or changes which are happening. You need also to get the buy-in of the external stakeholders. So would it be political instances? Would it be, whatever nature it is? And it brings also visibility. You can bring in this outside of the company and say, okay, look, this is the vision we have. This is where we want to move. And I have my team working on that. And together we move on. And so there is really a trust factor that the people, the team, if they get the resources, if we get the resources we need to make it happen, that we will be doing it. And I think that this is sustainability and circularity is for me the thing which is so important because it forces us as CEOs to rethink who we are as a human being, as a team member, as a leader, but also as a company, and why we want to move in that direction. So, and the team is, picking up on the who, the why, but especially also the what and how are we able to achieve that. So it allows us, everyone, to basically redefine what I call redefine the company, to look at, our vision, what we want to achieve, then to get clarity on that, to then also look at what are the capabilities we have. Does it impact our value propositions, our business models, our skills, assets, and what is the culture we need, to live that. So, and also the strategy, and also with whom are we going to partner? And there I can see that everyone has a say in that transformation and in that change. So it is, for me, it was, it would be like if you do some bread, you in French, you would say, tu as la pâte à pain, and you're doing, you're bringing everything together as a team.
Yes, yes. I think that's what we said before. I think it is not the CEO who will make or break a change. It's, as you said, it's the team. But just to build on what you said as a starting point, you said trust. I think that's a very good thing. If I would be, you would be the CEO, and I would want to win your buy-in. I think what is important for me is, first of all, I need to understand who are you as a person. Mm-hmm. There is a personal. I think there's the personal component. What is motivating you? Which type are you? What is your risk appetite? What is the legacy? You just said it. What is the legacy that you want to leave behind when you are leaving yourself? I think that's important. And what is your agenda? What are your priorities? I think understanding that, listening to you, listening to your concerns, and by that building a relationship and creating trust. I think that is what you said, and that's very important. Building a relationship and trust with the CEO. So you need to relate first on a personal level, and then of course, yes, you need to, if you want to win the CEO, you also need to be prepared to explain and to have a clear vision of what you want to achieve with the change and what is the expected outcome and the benefits. You need to make clear to the CEO what are financial, non-financial benefits, what are the challenges, what are the risks. So you need to be very transparent about that. And you said also the team, you need to be able to convince the CEO that the team that will drive the change, and I think, yes, it's the wider team, that they have the competencies, they have the skills, they have the motivation, they have the right mindset, because it's also mindset culture. So I think it's it's not it's multifaceted, that you think it's you need to be prepared that the CEO or she is not immediately buying into it. So I think it's a way to go.
And you know what you're saying, whenever you get a no, it's not a no, it's maybe not yet.
Yeah.
So it is about also the adaptability, the flexibility, the creativity of, and now we go into a little bit psychology or NLP type of approaches, is to see not only to frame, I mean, to report back and to say, okay, these are what we achieved, this is what has been done, but also it allows you to grow also as a visionary, and to pre-frame if there are problems or risk arriving at the horizon, to pre-frame it. And potentially, if there were some problems, how can you reframe the situation so that the vision can continue to evolve and to live on its own and be carried by the whole team? And for sure, I do have a pretty inclusive um, attitude, but that's my style. But you do have CEOs who are more, related on data and facts, and who are only moving with that.
Yeah.
So it is about really to find the right balance so that you can bring still these people on board, but because they're so data driven, they will ask some painful questions, but don't take these painful questions as a critique, but more as a maybe resourcefulness. How can I mitigate that? How can we approach that together, with the team and with the partnerships? And I think that this is really important, because a no is never a no.
Yeah, and I think what you just said, to build, if 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 you face this, the CEO says no, and I think you will face also challenges. I think you need to, as you said, just don't take it as a no, but try to think what's the motivation behind the no. And there it's again is a CEO could be, not every CEO you say is has the same risk appetite. Yes. Or the appetite for change. So there could be resistance for change, or some types are more biased towards keeping the status quo. So you need to really, it's very fine understand what drives the no, and how do you then define your tactics on how to address it, and to listen to these concerns and build on that. And because, as you said before, not having the CEO buy-in, I think you can have a good change agent network and you're all behind. But if the CEO and then the CEO has influence on the management team, if you don't have the buy-in, it's pretty damn hard to succeed in any change, in any transformation.
Yes. And I would even say, if you have the impression that you don't get the buy-in and the support you need, give yourself and the CEO and the senior leadership team the chance for a few months more to see if you can find a common ground. But if the appetite to move forward, or if they are really risk avert, and you are not able to loosen up this, how should I say, this very reticent attitude, then don't think that you will be changing. I mean, people of bringing this with them. It's not even against you personally. It's just simply because they are maybe not the right person for these types of changes, and maybe you are not at the right place. But give yourself the chance to make it happen, so that if you have to decide to step back or to go away, you know that you've changed it, and or you tried it, and this was not the right moment.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just thinking about what could be now. Let's imagine that we have the CEO buy-in to have this power. But I think from my experience, as I said before, probably this is the first step. And I think it's the first step, an important step that you have taken. But I think it's just the start of the journey. And what you need to be very careful is buy-in. It can be a curve, so it can increase, commitment can increase, but it can also fall down. And I think it is very important. There is this word harness the buy-in, and be careful that you and that's with all, not only with the CEO, but that's with all stakeholders. What you need to do is you need to map your stakeholder. You need to map also the CEO. Where is he again? Or you have a buy-in. You probably say, yeah, he is very supportive, but you continuously need to see where is he or she moving on this axis, and you need to accordingly adapt your strategy. You need to regularly communicate, update. You need to measure the success, the KPIs. So you need and use the CEO also. That's important, as I said before. Try to use the CEO also to communicate any progress, internal, external, but keep the CEO very close. I think that's important. So it's not that you say, I've got it from the beginning and he or she will support the change until the end. No, that would be a mistake. Be very careful.
I would say even keep the CEO on your leash, and I say that very respectfully, because the external factors can change. I mean, like there can be an interest for a takeover of the company. There can be, we are gliding into a crisis. What is going on? So the more you work together with the CEO and with the senior leadership team, you can adapt everything. And it's because, I mean, a change project, it's not, I prefer to call it, in fact, a transformation project, because a change is going from point A to B. And a transformation, the change is the journey. And because I mean a company gets some revenues, wins and loses clients. There are some continuous changes, or the environment is changing continuously. It is really a wonderful thing to be there and to contribute to the change, to the transformation of the company. And the reason why I said earlier, be very flexible. Adapt the project to the situation. Look at what are the opportunities that arise. What are the dangers or the risks that we need to mitigate because we didn't see them coming or being there at the very beginning. That is, I think it's a fantastic journey, but it is something, I mean, leading change is something which is also pretty exhausting because it requires us to be continuously focused and screen everything.
Yes, I think there is this word that is circulating since a few years: agility. I think you need to be very agile, and you need to continuously, question yourself and continuous improvement. So fine tuning. So yes, you have your vision there you want to go, but it's not a straight line. I think it can go left and right, but important is that you have your North Star and move towards it. I think that's the important thing. But yeah, good. I'm looking a bit at the time, so I think time is nearly up. I think
Yes.
it's interesting. Hopefully, you guys also found it interesting and insightful, leave us some. We will also post the video afterwards. You can review, but leave us some comments. Any topics that you want us to take up next time. We are open. I think we got some feedback also from the first session, and someone said, okay, it would be great if you could talk a bit about change. So yeah, give us some input and tell us if you like it, and repost it if you liked it. We would be happy.
Absolutely. So we intend to do this this webinar to stream it every month. So we'll see each other in a month, in 4 weeks from now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.